Hello, it's me, Robert Gregson. I've been a keyboard player since the age of about 12, and that's 46 years, 47 years or so ago. I've also worked in music shops, and there's a lot of things I know about keyboards that a lot of people don't know. And today I'm going to explain on a series of videos that I'm going to make the do's and don'ts about buying keyboards for the first time, and learning about how to play, learning the basics on how to play your first tunes, because a lot of people don't understand the beginner's books and things like that. So today's video is going to all be about buying keyboards and organs for the very first time. Now, you think about the old electric organs from the 60s. Now, you might be thinking that I might start to play the organ. Now, if you sort of get a neighbour and it says, oh, Uncle Joe used to play a big organ and he passed away a few years ago and he's been sitting there ever since and nobody else plays, and you go to look at it. The problem is, if you don't have a clue about playing an organ or keyboard and you're a beginner, a total beginner, you don't know what condition these organs are in. Now, yes, you can try all the keys, and obviously if there's a broken key or something, you'll know. But you can play the keys and you can press a few pedals and they will say, yes, it all works because Uncle Joe used to play it and it was fine. But until you actually start pressing all the other switches and finding out what they actually do, you won't know whether they work or not. So it's a false economy. Now, if you're buying on eBay, you need to see the organs to make sure they are working. Same with keyboards, because a lot of people will say the same thing. And you only know if you've got experience on playing keyboards and organs. So what I'm saying to you is, if you go and buy an old electric organ, it's all very well, but the other thing you have to think about, even if it's working, they are old. They are 50, 60 years old, some of these old electric organs. And to get somebody out to actually fix them when they break, it's impossible, because there's only one or two people that can actually fix the old organs. And they travel all over the country, and unless they can get the spare parts, they can't fix them. And you think how many old organs were thrown away when people pass away, and they don't, or they're sitting in pubs and the pub changes hands and they just throw them all away. The spare parts are very rare, which means you can't get the parts, which means they can't fix it, and it's about £100 call-out charge. It'd be a couple of £100 to fix something, you know, and you end up spending £300 to £500 fixing one key or something that might have broke, when the keyboard, the organ itself might have cost you 50 quid. You know, so now you're spending 6 months down the line, you could be paid up to £500 in repair bills for something which, when you think about it, you should have just spent £200 or £300 on a brand new keyboard instead. Now, so it's a false economy to buy the old organs these days. Buy a new, if you want an organ, 2-manual organ, buy a new organ. You need, buy it new from the shop or a proper music shop where somebody can demonstrate it and show you that it's all working properly. And that's what you need to do if you are thinking of buying one. Go to a proper music shop. And again, music shops are few and far between that actually sell the old organs. So most people today go for the new keyboards. Now, when you're buying a new keyboard for your child, say it's Christmas and your child wants to learn to play the keyboard, a lot of people go out and buy Yamaha's, Casio's, basic keyboards, a couple of £100, say £250. And if you buy it brand new from the shop, it's guaranteed, so if it goes wrong, they can take it back and it can get repaired by Casio or Yamaha or Technics or whoever the firm is. And most of these firms are pretty good and they know what they're doing. And a lot of these things don't break very easily. Now, a lot of people buy a keyboard for the children and they make some silly mistakes, and these are what these videos are going to be all about, just avoiding a few silly little things. Some keyboards these days, they have a number pad, and you'll see this on all these keyboards, and it might say it's got 500 sounds, so like flute, strings, guitar, organ sounds, all these, and each one has a number. So number 1 is piano, usually. Number 2 is a honky-tonk piano. Number 3 is another piano, and then it goes into organs and so on. And then you end up with, number 150 is guitar, and number 256 is strings, and then you got 495s, an oboe, and all these things. Now you think when you're playing your songs, even when your child's learned, if he's had lessons and they know how to play, and you're playing away and you're playing the song and you go, right, I need to now change sound. I'm on strings, I want to go to flutes. They have to then remember what number it was that flutes was on. So that was like 252, they've got to go 252 and then carry on playing. Now if they've forgotten that number, how the heck can they get the right sound? And more to the point, if you're playing a fast song, if you're going really fast, you can't be going 222 on the buttons to get the next sound. So we're going to go over here and I'm going to show you a keyboard that you should be buying. So avoid those type of keyboards that you get. Now there's also going to be a series of videos explaining how to set up your keyboard. But just for this little bit of demonstration, I just want to show you the sort of things you should be looking at on a keyboard in order, instead of the push buttons, instead of the numbered 1 to 500 or whatever it is for different sounds, you should be going for something like this. Now this keyboard was expensive when it first came out, but you can pick them up for £300 now. Now you need to find a series of buttons like this which actually says piano, guitars, strings on it without typing an actual number in. So when you press piano, all your different piano sounds come up on the screen. And there are 3 pages and you just flick up the page with the up and down button. And all you do is press one button to get the piano sound. Or if you're going into something else, if you go into an organ sound, whichever one you want, you just press the button and you get the sound. And that is what you should be looking for when you're looking for keyboards. Don't go for the ones that says it's got 500 different sounds and it's a push button pad and you have to type a number in, like on a mobile phone. You have to type a number in to get that sound. So 150 is organ, 151 is strings, 152. So you don't want those. You want something like this that you can just find the pad where it actually says the names of the different instruments, and when you press it, all those different types of that instrument comes up on the screen. Now this keyboard was about £2,000 when it came out, but it's second hand now and it's getting old now. But it's still a good keyboard, and you can pick these up for £300 and you can get them at a good music shop. Now, if you get them at a music shop, they're guaranteed and you know they work, and those are the type you need, because when you're playing fast, you can just press one button to change the sound and carry on playing. And that's what you need to get, and that's the best way to spend your money, and you'll know it's safe. You're only spending £300, and they don't go wrong very often, and they can easily be fixed if they do go wrong. Now, supposing you do buy an electric organ and it's an old one, or you're given one and it's in good condition, and you want to first of all learn how to set yourself up. I'm just going to show you briefly, because when you look at this, we're going to scan down and look at this organ. Now, anybody who doesn't understand anything about organs, they will think, oh my God, look at all these switches, what do they do? And what you need to look at, this particular organ is very technical, but they're all basically the same thing. If you look, they have a section, each section has a line going around it. And one will say upper, you'll have another one which will say lower. And just look for that line going around that section of buttons. Now, upper refers to the sounds on the upper keyboard. Lower refers to the sounds on the lower keyboard. Now, the next thing you need to know is you need to set up your left-hand bass. Now, your left-hand bass is here, in the rhythm orchestra section on this part. But you're looking for these, automatic bass or auto chord. Now, automatic bass means it's going to play an automatic bass, even though you can do, without that you can learn pedals. If you put that on, you'll get the pedals coming in. And I'll just show you. All you do is look for the start and stop button on the beats. Find your different beats here. Pick any one you want. So we've got it on rock and roll or country. I think we've got it on now. Make sure your automatic bass is on. Don't go for auto chord, because that is fingered chord for learning with one fingered, and I will explain more about that in another video. Automatic bass means it plays the bass. So when you press start, you hear that going, but listen. That's your bass. And it's got to do that when you do your chords. Now chords, your first 3 chords, if you're not used to playing keyboard or organs, There's a video that I put on, especially learning the first 3 chords. So if you want to learn the first 3 chords, and those 3 chords, C, G and F, are in every single song you're ever going to play, along with lots of other chords, but those are the main ones. So that will show you how to play your chords. So when you press start, you know exactly what to do to press your chords. Just look at my other video and that will explain all about the chords for you. And then that is all I need to talk about today. But for the first video, just explaining basically some of the mistakes. And look out for the other videos because they will show you how to first start to learn to play some tunes.